98.7 and AM 1580 WLIJ.
You're listening to the All Veterans Hour on WLIJ, engaging discussion by veterans for veterans, with your hosts Gary Leverett and Jimmy Miller. Join them as they discuss various veterans programs, issues, play powerful and healing veteran-related music, and keep the American citizen informed on things they ought to know. Right here on the Leader, WLIJ, every second and fourth Monday on 98.7 FM and AM 1580, and reaching around the world on WLIJradio.com. The All Veterans Hour on WLIJ is brought to you by the American Legion Post 23, the VFW Post 5019, the DAV Chapter 43, the Holy Crab Shack, and by United Communications.
Good morning, Shelbyville, Bedford County, and surrounding areas. I'm Gary Leverett. We're here at the All Veterans Hour with my co-host, Jimmy Miller. Good morning, Jimmy.
Good morning, Gary, and good morning to all our listeners.
And we have two special guests this morning. We have Nick Brockhausen.
Good morning.
Good morning, Nick.
How you doing?
I'm good. And we have Jeff Miller. Jeff.
Good morning.
Two military guys from a blast from out of the past, I guess you'd say.
Past is a good word.
Okay. Yeah. Nick, when I watched your podcast, you guys have a very interesting background.
Well, I've led a long and storied life.
You were with the Special Operations Group, right, MACV?
Yes, it was. Yes.
In Vietnam, and Jeff is Special Forces?
Special Forces, yeah.
Well, where did you serve?
That's a lot. That's the whole show.
Okay, well, basically, what did you do?
I started in Special Forces kind of by accident. I won't get into the whole thing here, but I wound up at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I'd gone through the communications MOS training for Special Forces. You know, there's 5 basic MOSs. Mine was 05 Bravo, which was commo, but shortly after I graduated from the training, I was in the 6th Special Forces Group at Bragg, and I got sidetracked into a TDY intelligence project, and loved it. It's what I really wanted to do in the first place. But when you went into SF in those days anyway, you couldn't go for the Intel MOS unless you were an E6 or above, and I was an E5.
Okay, for those that are not military, what is Intel?
Military intelligence.
That's a good question.
It's a good question because it covers a lot of ground. There's a lot of different facets to it. But it's one of the MOSs in Special Forces. There's an intelligence sergeant on every team to do everything from try to figure out what the enemy order of battle is to taking and developing photographs of targets and putting target folders together. There's a whole lot of different responsibilities. I got pulled into a project that was actually doing an after-action investigation on the Tet Offensive in Vietnam and why the entire intelligence mechanism in Vietnam at the time didn't see it coming. So that originally pulled me into the intelligence business, and I loved it, and I stayed there.
Okay. And Nick, you was in MACV. That's
I was
Military Assistance Command, Vietnam, right?
Right. I prefer to say I was sentenced to MACV SOG. MACV SOG was Military Advisory Group Vietnam Special Studies and Observations Group, which was a cover for the fact that it was basically three projects. At that time, it was CCN, Command and Control North, CCC, Command and Control Central, and CCS, Command and Control South. there had been 3 projects that it evolved from, but time I was there, it was CCN. The unit was based around, we had 80 men. We had 18 recon teams, and the recon teams were made up of 2 to 3 Americans and anywhere from 5 to 10 Montagnard indigenous troops. And our job was to go out deep behind their lines and find out what they were doing. Eventually, we tied up over 50,000 North Vietnamese troops who were hunting us down, because we were if we were out there, we were calling in bombs on anything we saw. And we had excellent air support, and which is probably the reason most of us survived, because the air support is what kept us alive. You're an 8-man team, and you might be in the middle of a regiment or a division trying to sneak and peek. Of course, by the time 1971 rolled around, you couldn't sneak and peek anywhere west of San Francisco. So it was an interesting job. I formed bonds with people that to this day are closer to me to my family,
right.
Especially with the Montagnards. The Montagnards were an Iron Age tribe that we trundled in and gave them man toys, and they took to it like ducks to a water. But that's what I did. And later, when I went into the 10th Special Forces Group, people amaze me. They go, "Oh, MACV-SOG, oh, you were in a super secret outfit, and that what special school did you go to?" Shanghai, I think, is the term. But it was just another job for Special Forces. The same thing with when I went to Berlin. I was in a stay-behind unit that, in the event the Russians got drunk one night and decided to go to France for breakfast, NATO would fall back, and we were stationed in Berlin, and our job was to interdict their communications, their logistics, blow up rail yards, blow up radio towers, assassinate anybody that was key figures, like the head of the Guards Army. If you happen to run across them, snuff them. And that it was just another Special Forces assignment. These days, they go to a special school, then they get a special tab, and it's the basic Special Forces is very, very versatile. And that they should get back to realizing that, forget about all that superfluous stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to get so long-winded.
That's okay. That's okay. That's what we're here for.
So what you're saying is you learn trial by fire, not a school.
Oh yeah. The Montagnards taught us more about being in the bush in warfare than what we'd have picked up at jungle warfare school, or even though we ran our own schools in country. For like the reconnaissance team leaders course at Longton was taught by people who had formerly been a 1-0 or a 1-1 recon team leaders, and you picked up the tips of the trade, how to stay alive.
The Montagnards were a fantastic group of people, right?
They're called the Daga people. And their actual history, in their oral lore, they tell stories of hunting elephants with long hair. That they go back to Neolithic times, long before that. And they originally were from China, the area of China, Mongolia, and they were pushed southward until they finally ended up on the Indochina Peninsula. And then they became, Montagnard means mountain people. And there were the Bru, the Rugdai, the Sedang, the Jirai. I had mostly Bru tribesmen. In fact, this bracelet is a Bru bracelet. It's actually my third because I wore 2 of them out.
They were mostly in the mountains, right?
Yeah, they were mostly in the mountains.
Up north.
Yeah, along the western coast of, or the western border of Vietnam, the Central Highlands, and then down south you had the Ra Dai. And Ra Dai are more The Brew look very, they're short. They have very Indian type features, and Rod Day look almost like they could be from Tahiti, Polynesia.
Okay. Jeff, your time. Tell us about it. Tell us a little bit about
It's a lot to follow.
what you do.
Like I said, I got plucked out of the 6th Special Forces Group in 1968 to go on this forensic examination of the Tet Offensive by a colonel who had been in the OSS, been a Jedburgh team leader in World War II. And then later, I got, while still in Special Forces, I had a secondary chain of command through Fort Meade, Maryland, into a higher level intelligence organization. And I sadly can't talk too much about that, but I was in the 10th group for about 7 years. And while I was, involved in all the things, the 10th group was basically the Cold War against the Russians group, because Europe was our primary area, though we had little bits of the Middle East. I wound up doing things like being the S-3 Air, moving MC-130E Combat Talon aircraft to Egypt to do Desert 1, the debacle in the Iranian desert. In fact, it was, I believe, that was the year I met Nick. They did that operation during a flintlock exercise, which was the special operations portion of Reforger, specifically to aid in moving some of those assets about unnoticed. So things like that. And then, of course, we teamed up after the service, or teamed up when we were both about to get out of the service, along with a couple of other guys, and started a company and just kept doing it. So my experience that most closely parallels, but is not in any way equal to Nick's experience, was in 2010, at the age of 64, I went to Burma and served as an advisor to a group of people, probably with ethnic roots very similar to the Montagnards, called the Karen, who were the mountain people of Burma, and worked with them for a while until I, A, came down with dengue fever, and B, fell off a cliff, and C, got carried out of Burma on a stretcher and spent a month recuperating in a hospital in Chiang Mai. So, we both had a lot of experience both in and out of the military, because we both got out of the military in 1982, and we kept working in similar kinds of ways until 2017. And we haven't even entirely given up yet. Who knows? We think there may still be one more out there.
Oh, God.
All right, let's take a break. Take a break right here, Brandon. We like playing a little bit of veteran-related music. So, Brandon, what's the first song, Jimmy?
First song is Run, and it's by
Patty Gurdy, a little-known German hurdy-gurdy player.
That I make. For a spider, I will burn your home in order to escape. And when the darkness grows into my heavily loaded back, I'll shake it off my shoulders and I'll follow my own track. Run, run, run from the dragon, from the treason, far enough till I reach your warm season. Run, run, run in the long run, I recover. Pull myself out of this limb. 1,000 years I'd fight. When everything behind me has finally disappeared, my body shall be put to rest, my spirit shall be freed.
At United Communications, we're more than just fast internet. We're your local connection to reliability and service you can count on right here in Bedford County. With fiber fast speeds and a team in your community, we keep you connected when it matters most. No long hold times, no out-of-town providers, just real service from people who care. Call 931-740-1800 or visit united.net. Thousands of Tennesseans already trust United. United Communications. Fast, local, internet.
We're the Holy Crab Shack, where the love runs deep. Precious catch and a faith to keep. Right here in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Good food and God come see. We're the Holy Crab Shack, where the love runs deep. Precious catch and a faith to keep. Right here in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Good food and God come see. So grab a seat.
Okay, we're back this morning. Your All Veterans Hour. I'm here with Jimmy Miller and our special guest. Got two of them today. Jeff Miller, who is military intelligence. They, as they just told us, that's an oxymoron. And Nick Brockhausen, who was with Mac VSOG in Vietnam, and among other things. Both these gentlemen have had a long and storied military careers. And we've been talking a little bit about that. But Jimmy, let's do some announcements that we have and some information that we have.
Pay bills. Let's get it done.
Okay.
Okay, so our American Legion, Post 23, we meet on the first Tuesday of the month. We're located at 1355 Tennessee, Highway 130 East, here in Shelbyville. Our meeting is at 6 o'clock. We have meat provided by Rowdy Ranch. All we ask is you bring a covered dish, and spouses are welcome at our meeting. Our VFW Post 5019 is located at 1320 East Depot Street. On the first Monday, they have their meeting at 6 o'clock. And I think he told me the Rowdy Ranch is providing their meat now, too.
Yes, they are.
All they ask, you bring a covered dish, and spouses are welcome at this event. Also, they have a breakfast on the second Saturday of the month. It's $10 for adult, $6 for kids, and under 6 eat free. And then on the third Saturday, they have live music and potluck. All they ask, it's $3 cover, and everyone bring a covered dish. They haven't got something for the fourth week yet, but give them time. We got a new commander. It might be coming. And then our DAV Chapter 43, meets on the second Tuesday of the month at 6 o'clock. They're located at 1355 Tennessee Highway 130 East. They also have meat provided by Rowdy Ranch. All they ask is you bring a covered dish, and spouses are welcome to this event too. You may go over the announcements for the month.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's do it.
While I'm here. Okay, so everybody, on September 6th, we have a Bedford County Health Fair from 10 to 3.
Veterans Health Fair.
Veterans Health Fair.
That's, yeah. Dave said it was a Veterans Health Fair.
I will. Okay, well, and at the health fair, we're going to have people from the VA there, so if you have any questions, that's the place to come to get answers. We're going to have a blood drive there. Would you say we have over 50 vendors?
Yeah, I talked to Dave Rogers the other day, and he said he had 53 vendors already, with more coming, so.
And how many of them are giving blood? Just a question. For a friend.
Just a question. Well, every time we've ever had it, we've always exceeded the goals. So hopefully this year we'll exceed the goals again. But there'll be vendors there, and it's located at
the Cartplex.
Yeah, if you don't know where that's at, if you're going
north towards Murfreesboro, Highway 231 north.
Yeah, didn't it used to be the old Cub Cadet or something like that?
Yeah, it used to be out there, but before that it was a racetrack for midget cars. And now it's called the Cartplex. I guess they still race go-karts out there. I don't know.
Yeah, now they have go-karts that do 60, 70 miles an hour out there.
I have no clue. Never been to it.
So if you get brave, you can do that too. But then on September 10th, Defenders of Freedom and Liberty do the Field of Flags. And what that is they lay a flag for everyone that lost their life in 9/11. Do you remember the exact number?
2,900 and something. Almost 3,000. We put up 3,000 flags. If you know anything about Shelbyville, you know where the floodgate is. Just off the square. Those two dikes, we put up 2,000, over 2,900 flags.
Wow.
And one for each person that died in 9/11. So, again, that's September the 10th. We'll do that. That way we got them up for September the 11th.
And that starts at 6 o'clock in the afternoon?
No, he usually does it about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, for some reason I put the wrong time in my...
We did it last year in the afternoon. So...
But as you can imagine, that many... No, he did put 6 o'clock.
Did he? Well...
Yeah, 2,977 flags.
6 o'clock then instead of 11 o'clock. It doesn't... We get several people out there, and it only takes about 30 minutes. It doesn't take long to put them up.
No, but 3 or 4 people, it takes a whole long time. So,
yeah, but we usually have 15 or 20 people.
Well, it's close to happy hour, so they're in a rush.
Yeah, well, we welcome everybody to come out and put a flag.
Absolutely. Sometimes we have some youth groups come to help us, and the fire department always shows up.
They show up for everything we ever do.
Yeah, they do. So we're here with Nick. Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Okay, we're here with Nick Brockhausen and Jeff Miller. And we're talking about the things that they did. Nick was in the Special Operations Group, and Jeff was Special Forces. So how did you guys meet?
Well,
or is that classified?
You didn't have to ask him that. It's his favorite story in the world.
I was working as what they call a case officer, and I had 4 assets, 4 other Special Forces guys. Each one was assigned an area in Western Germany, and each one of them was responsible for a team that was jumping in from Bragg or England or Fort Devens, and they would do what they normally do they would jump in, they would link up with a guerrilla chief and a guerrilla outfit. Usually these were Army guys playing the role. Sometimes we'd get Marines, and that was interesting. And each one of those guys was responsible for his area. And I was their case officer, and I had to go back to the exercise director headquarters in Echterdingen. And when I'm in civilian clothes, I'm driving a rented Mercedes. I've got thousands of liters of gas that I can hand out for paying for favors like truck drivers and barns to sleep in, things like that. So I'm coming in the back gate, there's this long road, and off over to the right is the tent area where all the guys that are participating in that exercise have their billets and the mess hall and all that in the operations center. So I'm coming down this road, the road that comes from there, I notice a staff car, military staff car, going at a high rate of speed in reverse. As it shoots across the intersection in front of me, I'm watching it, and it goes. The Air Forces, they're kind of silly about these things. They got this huge dirt berm, and the commander's wife had planted flowers in the shape of the patch that they wear, some kind of insect eating a MiG or something, And this staff car goes up, does 3 or 4 donuts to the flowers, and that flower's going here, flower's going there, and it finally stalls out, slides down to the bottom of the bank and that. And I got out of my car, I'm going, and I happened to look down the road where it come from, and there was all kinds of blue lights from MP vehicles coming that direction. I get to the car, and the door opens, and this falls out. And he goes, "You got to get me out of here." And I go, "Really?" So yeah, we got to go. And there was a voice from the back seat, which later turned out to be the daughter of the base commander. And he was giving her a lift to her friend's house, and he purloined the vehicle en route because he didn't have one of his own. So that's how I met him. And it was downhill from there.
Okay, that's his story. What's your story?
Well, it's not that dissimilar, although I must admit I don't remember that I was going in reverse. I do remember that.
You remember
most
what
of the
year
rest
it
of
was.
it, but I'd been at a beer fest in Stuttgart, and this young lady needed a ride back to Echterdingen, which is where I was going anyway, and there was a military-owned vehicle with the keys in it, and I figured, well, I'm a military person, it must be available for my use, so I just used it. And all I can say is, in my own defense, a lot of beer had been consumed at that beer fest.
More than beer. There was schnapps in there and everything else. I was just looking for a grease pit to shove them both in with the car.
But then a year later, we were both getting out for various reasons. And with another gentleman who we call the Penguini, we don't have permission to use his real name, and he'd probably sue us if we did. We started a small company to take our special operations training to the public at large. And over the next 40 years, we participated in a few other wars, freelance. We rescued kidnapped victims in various countries. We,
the SWAT shield that everybody carries with the window in it?
Yeah,
we invented it.
We invented that.
Yeah.
Marketed it for a while, but we never were much as businessmen, unfortunately.
No, business was not our forte.
Yeah. But we did all these things all over the world over this 40-year period, and Nick had written 2 books about Vietnam, about Mac B. Sog in Vietnam. And we wound up in COVID lockdown in Tucson when COVID came ashore. And there's not that much to do in Tucson on a good day. And when it was in COVID lockdown, there was absolutely nothing to do.
There was only one bar open between there and Colorado.
And it was about a 20-mile drive. So we decided we'll write a book together. He already had 2 published books. He knew the publisher and everything. And we'll write the stories of what we did when we got out, which is a book called Vagabonds, Tourists in the Heart of Darkness, available on Amazon and many other fine booksellers. I moved out here to stay with a friend on a farm about 7 miles west of town about 1.5 years ago, and had the amazing good fortune of meeting a movie producer who had relocated to Franklin, Tennessee from Hollywood because he's a conservative, American values, Second Amendment guy, and was pretty sick of Hollywood.
Goes armed everywhere. I think he takes it in the shower with him.
And was able to negotiate with him to turn our book and other stories that aren't in the book, but turn our lives between 1982 and 2017 into a streaming series for one of the streaming, like Amazon or Netflix or whatever. So 6 months ago, the studio paid Nick to relocate here also. So that's why we're here. And we're here in Shelbyville because it's where I lived for the first year, and Ruta really liked the place. A lot of that being all the guys that I met at the veterans breakfasts. I really enjoyed. There's a really good group of guys.
Heathens.
You know them all.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
And so we stayed here. It's not that much of a drive to Franklin. We only have to go there about twice a month anyway. So, and we're in the process of developing a streaming series going to be called American Ronin. It's going to be the name of the series, or at least that's the working title right at the moment.
American what?
American Ronin, R-O-N-I-N. Ronin was a masterless samurai, sort of a freelance samurai in ancient Japan.
Yellowstone, they could call us Kidney Stone.
And it's going to cover, I believe the first season is pretty much scheduled to cover kidnapping recoveries. And then who knows where it'll go from there. We were in Bosnia for the war in Bosnia, and that would be a good season. Burma might be, but the first
Mexico,
almost certainly
Chechnya. We'll never do another one in Chechnya.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how we got here. We love it here, especially. Everybody says, "Oh, it's so hot in the summer there." No, not when you're from Tucson. It's not.
And dry heat is a myth.
Yeah. Dry.
They had the hottest time in Tucson during the monsoon. It rains every day.
Yeah. And it gets so hot that you have permanent burns on your fingers of your right hand from grabbing your car keys to pull them out of the ignition. That's how hot it is there.
It was so hot, I saw a coyote chasing a rabbit, and they were both walking.
Yeah. So we're loving it here in Tennessee, and
I've told that one a few times.
Probably are settled here permanently, I would imagine. Maybe not in the same place we're living, but certainly in the same area. And we'll see how the whole TV series thing goes. Right now, it's going. We got a great writer. He wrote the script for Space Cowboys with Clint Eastwood and Tommy Lee Jones, and he wrote the recent movie Reagan that was just out last year. So it's a fabulous team, and we're really optimistic about where it's going to go. So who knows?
So we got dirt on it. This
is one of our first baby steps on our road to becoming famous. Right now.
Who's playing you?
Well, we don't know that yet. I have recommended my choice, but I doubt if it'll mean anything in the end of the day. So
they can't find anybody weathered enough to play me.
Yeah, remember, these are people that are going to be playing us when we were in our late 30s. Yeah. not playing us now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to be hard to find an actor that had the grit y'all had when y'all were 30 years old.
It's somebody that's handsome and instead of being lean and mean is skinny and scared.
Yeah.
Okay, Brandon, we better go to another break and another song.
Daddy from Maypearl.
Daddy from Maypearl. It's a good song. Stay there.
At the Dirty Bird prepping for patrol, when the news came over the radio, the scouts were down and we lost a Humvee to 4 IEDs and some RPGs. It was Redcon 1 and I grabbed my vest. My heart was a hammer pounding in my chest. The fire was heavy, the air was gritty. In Federalea near Cider City, well, McAllister was always sitting on go. If he ever felt fear, he never let it show. He had a wife and a daughter back in Maypearl, a little Texas town in another world. Well, it wasn't the first house that we'd cleared, and in the faces you could see the fear. All alone in the dark was a scared little girl. She took McAllister all the way back to Maypearl. When he took a knee and I heard him say, "Come here, baby, don't you be afraid, 'cause a little girl's just a little girl to a daddy." From Maypearl. There's a line of distance that he crossed, reaching out to that little girl lost. You should have seen the comfort that he gave before he had to go back to being brave. For a moment there, the world was right. There wasn't no enemy, wasn't no fight. There wasn't no us, wasn't no them. There wasn't no nothing but her and him. When he took a knee and I heard him say, "Come here, baby, don't you be afraid. You know a little girl's just a little girl to a daddy from Maypearl." It was Redcon 1 and I grabbed my vest. My heart was a hammer pounding in my chest. The fire was heavy, the air was gritty. In Federalea near Cider City.
At United Communications, we're more than just fast internet. We're your local connection to reliability and service that you can count on. Right here in Bedford County. With fiber fast speeds and a team in your community, we keep you connected when it matters most. No long hold times, no out-of-town providers, just real service from people who care. Call 931-740-1800 or visit united.net. Thousands of Tennesseans already trust United. United Communications. fast, local internet.
We're the Holy Crab Shack, where the love runs deep. Precious catch and a faith to keep. Right here in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Good food and God come and see. We're the Holy Crab Shack, where the love runs deep. Precious catch and a faith to keep. Right here in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Good food and God come and see. So grab a seat.
You're listening to the All Veterans Hour on WLIJ, engaging discussion by veterans for veterans, with your hosts Gary Leverett and Jimmy Miller. Join them as they discuss various veterans programs, issues, play powerful and healing veteran-related music, and keep the American citizen informed on things they ought to know. Right here on the Leader, WLIJ, every second and fourth Monday on 98.7 FM and AM 1580, and reaching around the world on WLIJradio.com. The All Veterans Hour on WLIJ is brought to you by the American Legion Post 23, the VFW Post 5019, the DAV Chapter 43, the Holy Crab Shack, and by United Communications.
Guess that.
We're back again with our special guests today, Nick Brockhausen and Jeff Miller, both legends in their own mind. It's been a very interesting show. We'll get back to them in just a minute. I want to first mention that if you need any veteran claims or you need to get in the veteran system, the VA system, you need to go to the courthouse and see Ben Ely. He's our veteran service officer. And he's open from 9 a.m., I believe, till 1, 9 to 1. To see him, you go to the courthouse, and there's a ramp that goes down to the basement of the courthouse. There are no steps, so you can take a wheelchair down that way. But be sure you call him and make an appointment, because it is a very busy office. Ben's number is 931-685-4838. 931-685-4838. Also, we have a service where we pick up our veterans and take them to their doctor's appointments or their hospital appointments, and Bill Tucker and his two drivers do an awesome job. They pick you up at your home, take you to your appointment, bring you back to your home. I think we're one of the few counties that do that. And you'll be riding in, some of you be riding in style, because they just got a brand new vehicle, a 2025 Chevy Traverse. So the other vehicles were wore out. But the Veterans Council and the county came together on that and purchased a new vehicle to move our veterans in. So again, that's Bill Tucker, and his phone number is 931-607-7178. 931-607-7178. Okay, back to our guest, Nick and Jeff. Where did we leave off?
What?
Where did we leave off?
TV series coming up.
Yeah.
TV series.
Talk about that TV series.
Yeah. They're going to...
It's mostly based on the book, loosely based on the book, put it that way. You know,
Nick
there's a lot of things
which
we
in
do.
itself was loosely based on our lives.
Which was loosely based on what our mothers wanted us to become.
Yeah.
Nick has written 2 books, right?
I wrote 2 books about Vietnam. These are all 3 of them are nonfiction. Although I have friends of mine that say that they're faction. Yeah.
What's the name of the book?
The first book was called We Few. We Few.
Okay.
And the second book was called Whispers in the Tall Grass.
It was actually a misprint by the publisher. It was supposed to be Whimpers in the Tall Grass.
Whiners, and they were both about SOG. You know what I did there for almost 2 years.
And SOG stands for Special Operations Group.
Studies and Observations Group. Everybody gets it wrong. They all think it's Special Operations Group. It was Studies and Observations Group, which was a cover title, figured that the North Vietnamese that with studies and observation, it must be scholars.
Yeah, there we go.
We were the furthest thing from scholars you could find.
That's for sure.
You had wisdom. You just wouldn't book wisdom.
I don't know if wisdom was part of it. Animal cunning, I think, is what they call it.
What's your third book?
It was called Vagabonds. Tourists in the Heart of Darkness.
It's a subtitle.
Kind of a tongue-in-cheek.
So now I got a question for you, too, because...
let me ask them, where can we buy that book?
All of them are on Amazon.
Amazon?
Right.
Okay.
Everything's on Amazon.
Yeah, there are other places, too, but Amazon's so easy. That's why they sell so many books. So.
Yeah. Okay, now ask your question.
So in 1968, I was just being born, not to make you feel old or anything. So I've noticed throughout all the eras, the question brothers we all have our own version of what our military brothers are like. To you guys back there where, it was do or die, what is a military brother to you? I mean, how would you describe it? Because there is no definition for...
Well, I think today they call them battle buddies.
Yeah, no, we ain't doing that.
Yeah,
That's
battle rattle, all that. The guys I served with in combat are people that I love more than I love my own family. I hate to say that, Ron, Sandy, forgive me. But and Jerry, don't forget Jerry. But, you go through experiences like that, and you form a bond with those people that's unbreakable. It's, you know about each other's marriages and divorces and children and, their personal life, and you follow them throughout because they're the only ones that really understand you as somebody that's been through that same exercise with you. And even outside of combat, the guys I serve with in Special Forces they're unique in many ways. It truly is a brotherhood. People that haven't experienced that really don't understand how veterans feel towards each other.
That's why we only talk to each other.
Well, that and the ones that owe us money.
Well, it's hard to find people that really get it if they haven't been involved. And it's great to find people that you can talk to about anything and understand exactly what you're saying. There's so much phoniness in the world. Excuse me. But in my experience, anyway, I think Nick will back me up on this, although he often won't. In my experience, the guys that, at least in our generation, that were involved in whatever they were involved in, because it all comes down to just accomplishing the mission that you're given. They're funny guys. They have good senses of humor.
Dark humor.
They don't, strut through life like Steven Seagal walking into a bar. They're just
the
laid
Navy
back.
does.
We had a great compliment one time. We were interviewed by a very high-level woman from the agency at the SHOT Show in Las Vegas many years ago. And I want what she said to be on my tombstone. Because she said, I have never met two so serious people who just don't take themselves seriously. And I thought that was a great compliment,
Well, we did later throw her out in the ice plants in her fur coat and her high heels because we got tired of driving around looking for the entrance to the hotel.
But in my experience, all the really good guys, the ones you really want to have along with you, they don't take themselves that. They take the mission seriously. They don't take themselves seriously. And nowadays in social media, you see so many guys who just are so out there look at me, what a badass I am. I'm the most killingest son of a bitch that ever lived. And I'm like, oops. Nobody I know talks like that. Yeah. Did you have the beeper ready? I didn't think that was a particularly egregious.
But you know, I gotta get one in.
But you know what I mean. It's just silliness, and we've always we do what we do, but we don't strut around and try to get in bar fights because of it. It's ridiculous. So.
I spent 2 years running recon with a guy from Alabama, and God bless Southerners, because you learn about laconic, ironic, tectonic, all of that together in one person. He had the most wry sense of humor. We'd be in the middle of a firefight, and one time we got hit right after we got off the choppers and that. And my job was to fight the team. His job was to stay on the radio, make sure we got air support. And as I'm working the team down here, I watched the North Vietnamese do a cut up to this gully, and I saw this grenade come out of that gully and land right where he was. And when I got there, I thought, God, he's been blown up. This is horrible. He's got the radio, which we need. I get up there, and he's got his pants down, and he's checking himself out because he thought he'd been wounded and that. And I'm, the cubby came up on the radio. What's going on? So, well, right now, the guy from Alabama is touching himself. So you have to have a sense of humor to do this job.
Yeah, that's what. Since I've retired, me and my brothers that's been 33 years plus going all over the world, we're starting to hang out because we don't get to see each other as much. So my wife's getting to meet all of them. And last week we met one for lunch, and she goes, "Do you have any friends that are normal?" I'm like, probably not.
No. What do you call normal?
Yeah. It's normal for me.
Yeah. I mean, great people you'd want to deploy with you, but now in normal society, yeah, they might be a little extreme.
A little strange. Strange.
Well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming in for an hour.
Well, thank you for having us.
Is your business, you still working your business, or are you retired now?
We're mostly retired unless there's enough money.
Oh, look at the time.
Yeah.
Never say never.
We both, kind of jokingly, but it's half serious, we figure we got one more great adventure in this.
Okay.
Even if they have to wheel us in a wheelchair. Front sight.
Anything we do from this point forward will mostly involve passing on all the things that we've learned over the last 50 some years to somebody just a bit younger,
and answering indictments,
and letting them do the heavy lifting.
If you would like to know more about these two characters, these two,
don't give out her address.
These two,
come on.
They have a podcast on YouTube called No Gray Man.
Oh, God. Nobody can sit through 3 hours of that.
3 hours. I mean, I've watched the whole thing, but I think it was in 9 segments.
That's because he thinks he's cute.
Take us out of here, Jimmy. Okay, Brandon, let's call it a show.
Let's go with All Along the Watchtower, Brandon.
The late, great Jimi Hendrix.
There must be some kind of way out of here. Say the joker to the thief. There's too much confusion. I can't get no relief. Businessman there to drink my wine. Plowman dig my earth. None will level on the mine. Nobody of it is worth.
United Communications builds connections you can rely on. Whether it's fast internet for your home or your business, our fiber network is designed for your community. No long hold times, no out-of-town providers, just real service from real people. Call 931-740-1800 or visit united.net. Thousands of Tennesseans already trust United. United Communications. Fast, local internet.
We're the Holy Crab Shack, where the love runs deep. Precious catch and a faith to keep. Right here in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Good food and God come and see. We're the Holy Crab Shack, where the love runs deep. Precious catch and a faith to keep. Right here in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Good food and God come and see. So grab a seat.
Broadcasting from high atop picturesque Radio Park.
In a van down by the river.
98.7 and AM 1580. WLIJ, Shelbyville, Tennessee.